Yo, this is Pastor Earl with your Elder's Faith Snack for June 13th, 2009. We're continuing where we left off yesterday, Acts chapter 20, and we finished verse 28, so let's move on to verse 29. For I know this, that after my departing shall grievous wolves enter in among you, not sparing the flock. Also of your own selves shall men arise, speaking perverse things, that is, things that circumvent the word of God. To perverse means to go around the word. To speaking perverse things, for what purpose? To draw away disciples after them. One of the temptations that you will encounter, one of the things that the enemy is going to try to use against you in order to hinder the work, in order to injure the flock. One of the things he's going to try to do is to tempt you to draw away disciples onto yourself. And the elder's responsibility is not to draw away disciples, followers onto themselves, but actually to point those followers up. You are responsible for pointing followers to me. I'm responsible for pointing followers to Jesus, because we're all Jesus's disciples. And the chain of command is such that I'm called to point people to Jesus, but you're called to point people to Pastor. And the enemy, understanding that chain of command, is going to try to break it, because then the flow to the rest of the body is interrupted. Word is going to flow from the Lord through the angel of the house, through the shepherd of the flock. The food to feed the congregation is going to come through the shepherd of the flock, and then it's going to go through the distribution channel of the elders. It's going to go through me to you, to them. But if you seek to interrupt that distribution chain, the people aren't going to get what they're supposed to get. And so we've got to watch out for that wile of the devil. Paul tells us that we are not ignorant of his devices, and doesn't want Satan to get an advantage over us. So how do you stop that from happening? Here it is in verse 31. Therefore, because of what I just said to you, because there are men who are going to arise among you, speaking perverse things around the word, in order to draw away disciples onto themselves. This is what you must do to ensure it doesn't happen. Here it is again. Therefore, watch, because the elder's most important tool in his tool belt, vision. Got to be able to see. Got to watch. But you got to watch with particular glasses, with a particular lens, the lens of faith, which comes from hearing the word of God. Psalm 119 and 30. Let me see. Psalm 119 and 30 says it this way. The entrance of your word giveth light. The way I'm going to be able to see is by getting the word of God. Hearing the word that comes from Pastor is vitally important, because that word is going to shed light in the areas that God is seeking to illumine in the body and also in our individual lives. And that's why Jesus said, and this goes for any shepherd with followers, if you continue in my word, in my message, then are you my disciples indeed, and you'll know the truth, and the truth will make you free. That's part of the reason why these daily faith snacks, elder faith snacks, are so important, because if you're not continuing in my word, it's going to be hard for you to be my disciples, and it will be easy for you to disconnect from the source, God, and the chain of command that he has established through your pastor. It will be easy for you to disconnect and then go off on your own to try to establish disciples for yourself. And so I am very weary of elders who don't continue in my word, because if you're not going to continue in my teaching, then you're going to latch on to some other teaching, develop your own teaching, develop perverse things that go around the word that God has for this people, and seek to draw disciples after yourself. So, if you continue in my word, then are you my disciples indeed. You'll know the truth will make you free. And that's why we include that in every faith snack that we send you. And they continued steadfastly in whose doctrine? In the apostles' doctrine that was put over them. They didn't try to develop their own doctrine, and they didn't distance themselves from that doctrine. They were in that doctrine every day. We saw that already, that daily in the temple and from house to house. And Paul is going to point out right here that he taught them daily. It is a daily diet of the word that enables you to continue in the doctrine of the apostle or the person that God puts over your life, that allows you to remain a disciple, a follower of your pastor, so that you can help him lead the flock congregation. It is vitally important that you get this word on a regular basis. So, therefore, watch and remember that by the space of 3 years I cease not to warn everyone night and day with tears. He'd been telling them that this kind of stuff was on the horizon and it was going to happen. And now, brethren, I commend you to God and to the word of his grace, which is able to build you up and to give you an inheritance among all them which are sanctified. And we'll stop there. And I just want to reiterate and reemphasize that staying in that word on a daily basis that God is giving through me for this house is vitally important for us to maintain a chain of command that's going to produce blessing for the congregation. And so I thank you for staying in this word with me as I'm staying locked in to what God is saying for the church. I thank God that he's given you guys the heart to stay locked in to that word for this church as well. We'll start a new study on Monday. I'll see you then. God bless you.